Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Wednesday show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter, yesterday apparently I said, and Peter Clayton's behind the garage.
You did.
I did. Slip of the tongue. Peter Clayton is behind the camera. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. This is the Court of Public Opinion from the garage. Welcome. I hope you enjoy the show. Mind you, I don't quite know what's in it, but we'll try and make it interesting. Well, the world makes it interesting for us. Let's face it, never a dull moment. It's been revealed that King Charles has been diagnosed with cancer. Now, I know he made a big thing of the prostate problems because he wanted to have men made more aware of the problem, the danger, the need to check, the need to get it fixed. However, cancer is a different kettle of fish. The prostate problem wasn't malignant. Very little information except he will step back from official duties while undergoing chemotherapy. We wish you a speedy recovery, sir. I'm told that having been informed by his doctors, the first person he spoke to was Harry. He rang Harry in the United States, and after a brief conversation, Harry organised an immediate flight to London. Well, it kind of leads me to think that maybe it's more serious than the palace is letting on. The King was due here in October, I think, as part of a major royal tour. This must be in some kind of doubt. But anyway, get well soon, Your Majesty. Some other bits and pieces. Congratulations to Tommy Emmanuel. Pete, do you know Tommy Emmanuel?
Oh, he's brilliant, yes. He's
Great
brilliant.
guitarist.
Yes.
He won a Grammy. Wow. A Grammy for the best instrumental. And Kylie got a gong as well. The song, which I think is a revamp or a revisit of an old Edith Piaf song, and if I can find it on Friday, I'll play it for you. It was called, as I remember it, well, the Edith Piaf song was Padam Padam, Padam Padam, but she did it in waltz time, Padam Padam, Padam Padam. Kylie's version is completely different. I don't get Kylie's version, but I certainly get. I hadn't heard the Edith Piaf song for years. It's whatever she did wonderfully. She is a wonderful entertainer. Little tiny girl, 4 foot nothing, but a fantastic voice. We have, ladies and gentlemen, new vehicle efficiency standards. Carbon emissions, which here in Australia amount to nothing, of course. Anyway, a thinly disguised attempt to push people away from the internal combustion engine and promote the risky concept of electric cars. Now, why do I say risky? Risky because of fire, risky because of cost and resale value, cost of repairs, cost of battery, cost of insurance, and to top it all off, they don't work very well in the cold weather. Catherine King, you might know the name, the minister who has I don't need to diminish her in any way, but she has really done nothing in her life but social work at the Ballarat Children's Home. She will tell us whether we can keep our ute or our vintage car or our truck or whatever. What would she know? And oh yes, what we're doing, don't get excited, Jeremy, what we're doing is to just bring Australia in line with the United States. But we don't produce the emissions of the United States. So I got to ask why. Remember, 1.3% of global emissions. So you want to impose massive change and cost to achieve nothing. These people are dangerous. Beware of ideology. God, the Labour people are a driven mob. Apart from all of this, they demand that the People's Republic of Victoria, I'll be amazed if the Labor Party in Victoria gets back in next time, but that's years down the track anyway. The People's Republic of Victoria go further than these legislated new vehicle efficiency standards. A 60% reduction in emissions by 2030. That's only a few years away. This is stupid. It's not possible. Manufacturers are scaling back or cancelling design and production of electric vehicles. They are far from safe and efficient and far too expensive. Also, a punishing new tax will be imposed on heavy vehicles travelling to the port of Melbourne. Now, they shouldn't be allowed to get away with this. The Port of Melbourne, which depends on these heavy vehicles to move freight 24 hours a day, containers, you know. Most everything comes through that port, or ports like it. This will put about $400 on every container, and of course everything in every container. This is just tax-crazy Victoria. This is a measure, I'm told, to get heavy diesel trucks off the road. Let me tell you something. We can't live without trucks, heavy trucks. You stupid, stupid people. There is no alternative. There is no replacement electric vehicle for a Kenwood or similar vehicle. What are you thinking? I'm sorry, of course. You don't think. You don't think, do you? No. An interesting story in the Financial Review yesterday. The Cars That Grate Paris. You know, there was a movie called The Cars That Ate Paris? Very clever. The Cars That Grate Paris. The French clearly hate SUVs. Paris, if you have a hatch, a sedan, a sports car, it's €6 for an hour's parking, you know, on the side of the road. If you're driving an SUV, it's 3 times as much, €18. I must admit I don't get SUVs. Pete, do you get SUVs?
Oh, well, I'm sort of driving one.
Oh, no, you've got a Land Rover Defender, which is completely different to an SUV.
Yeah, yes. Look, I think people think they're safer. I think that's what it is.
Safer, sitting up higher or something?
Well, yeah, better vision and you got four-wheel. I think they're four-wheel drive, these SUVs, aren't they?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Great, big, ungainly, hard to park, expensive to run and insure. Most seem to be in black inside, black outside, sometimes even blacked out windows. And a bit like the electric fad, FOMO, which is, you know, the fear of missing out, everyone has to make an SUV. All the big manufacturers.
Yeah, I think I think they believe they're safer. That's what I think.
Yeah. I don't think the car makes you safe or unsafe. It is really the driver that makes you safe or unsafe. But everyone, I mean, I'm just amazed that everyone has taken to making an SUV. Porsche, I mean, could you imagine anything more silly than the manufacturer of the 911 producing a Porsche SUV, a Jag SUV? Well, I don't know. I mean, they're made in India now, I think. Even Bentley and Rolls are making SUVs. I don't know about Ferrari, but I think it's ridiculous. Don sent me this one on live sheep and the cattle trade. Pete, you'd be interested.
Yes.
He says there are strict rules here in Australia on how animals can be slaughtered. In the Middle East, no such laws. In fact, the opposite. And further, we are not allowed to burn or use our coal, but we sell it to China, where they do just that. Burn it to the advantage of their people. Canberra are hypocrites. Don, I agree with you. He says, as long as we don't see the slaughter or the coal being burned, it's okay. It isn't happening. Don, you're absolutely right. Bloody, bloody hypocrites. Fantastic. Good comment. Thank you. Let's have a moment of enlightenment. While this stupid government tries to save the world, which of course is not their job, hell-bent on alternatives, electric vehicles, wind farms, solar collectors, very expensive and dangerous batteries. I heard another advertising campaign today warning people of certain batteries and the clear and present danger they represent. All to fix a problem that here in Australia doesn't even exist. This is what we have, you know. Put solar panels on your roof at your expense, batteries at your expense, and of course at your risk. All of this in the most energy-rich country in the world to achieve nothing. Okay for China to burn our coal, but not us. What's the difference? Are they doing it in a different atmosphere? Huh? Are they? Really? Okay. China gets the benefit, we don't. What a crock of nonsense. Where is the media? This government seems like it thinks it will get away with this. But only if you and I let them. And if you doubt me, I'll tell you again, the same people, what they did in 1975 with the Lima Declaration. I don't know, maybe I'll try it again. I like the way the girl talks, and if you give me a second, I'll get her up on Google. Can you tell me again about the Lima Declaration? No, it's not going to do it. Now the trouble is down here in the garage, we don't get a strong enough signal. But if you want to Google that, you'll get it chapter and verse. Just Google the Lima Declaration. Say, what can you tell me about the Lima Declaration? The Labor Party literally removed our manufacturing industry. Now these people couldn't give a stuff about us, ladies and gentlemen. But do look that up, the Lima Declaration. It'll tell you, chapter and verse. It's only a couple of paragraphs, but once having read it, you'll never get over it. You might remember Jim Elder, our new sponsor for the show, a few weeks that came on and he was talking to me about how he found paintings for his famous sales. Fantastic art gallery on Melbourne Street in North Adelaide. And he's looking for new paintings, international and Australian artists, for the forthcoming March and April auctions, Australian and international paintings. Now Jim's going to organise, if you will ring him, and I'll give you the number in a second, an obligation-free appraisal. He'll go and tell you exactly what the painting is worth. Now you might say, oh well, I didn't know it was worth that much. I'm going to keep it. In fact, I'm going to take it out of the attic and I'm going to stick it in pride of place. I never knew I had something valuable like this. Or you might say, Jim, look, sell it for me. You think you can get that money for me? Please get that money for me. I just think it's wonderful. I bought and sold paintings through Jim Elder Fine Art, Melbourne Street, North Adelaide, for years and years and years. Jim and Helen Elder, beautiful people in a beautiful art gallery, 106 Melbourne Street, North Adelaide. They're open Monday to Friday from 10 till 5. All you need to do is call Jim, and I'll give you two numbers here. I'll give you the office number, which is 8267 2869, 8267 2869, or you ring Jim on his mobile, which is 0417 811184, 0417 811184. And he has had amazing success in finding paintings and producing incredible amounts of money for the sale, because people all over the world tune in online to look at these auctions, because here in Australia a lot of the paintings we have are worth far more overseas. But Jim is on top of all of that. He will get you the best price. If you're looking to sell, like that Hans Huyssen I told you about the other day, it was, you know, just sort of something around the house, $28,000, nearly $30,000 that painting brought. That was just in December. You can have a look at the website and check that out. How much time have we got, Pete?
A bit more.
A bit more. A measure, and I think an appropriate measure, a response by the United States to the Iran-sponsored terrorism in satellite countries. By that I mean Syria and Iraq. And at the same time, the Allies attacked the home bases of the Red Sea pirates in Yemen. Now, everyone is very nervous about this, of course, but you can't let really bad criminal behaviour go unpunished. It's a fine line. The trick for the Americans and the Allies in the Middle East is to punish these people without accelerating the world into a major Middle Eastern war. As I say, good luck with that. And if I have another second, it probably won't get a lot of publicity, and it should. Redbank Plains Supermarket, part of a popular Ipswich shopping centre in Queensland. A 70-year-old grandmother, not that her age has anything to do with it, was ambushed in the underground car park of that supermarket, stabbed to death in a robbery and carjacking by 5 young black men. This was all in the presence of her little granddaughter. They reported how old the victim was and how old the child was. 6 years old, by the way, the granddaughter. But not that the alleged murderers were black. What is wrong with saying They are black. Is there something wrong with being black? In finding these perpetrators, it was much more useful than the ages of the victims. Go figure. I don't know. A few birthdays, ladies and gentlemen, and I shall leave you reminding you that Friday we'll be beside the, well, not beside, in front of, on the dining room table with jeremycordo.com. 3 hours, live streaming. Love you to join us, and you can ring us. Phone number, if you want to make a note of it, put it in your speed dialer. It's 0491 65 68 60. And I wrote it down because somebody told me I got it wrong when I was just doing it off the top of my head last time. Now the dates. Okay, February 7. Oh! American aviation pioneer Amelia Earhart. She was 33. She weds publisher George Palmer Putman, age 43, in Connecticut, on this day in 1931. Great kerfuffle at the moment because they say that they have found off New Guinea the Electra, the two-engined Electra aeroplane that she was attempting to fly around the world. I've seen a couple of pictures of what they say is the outline of the plane. It looks right, looks the part. But that's only in the last few days, so that's still one of the great aviation mysteries. Charles Dickens, English writer, Oliver Twist, Tale of Two Cities. Ah, Tale of Two Cities, I love Tale of Two Cities. Ronald Colman. It is a far, far better rest I go to than I've ever known. It's a far, far better thing that I have done than I have ever done before. I think that's right. Tale of Two Cities. They were going to guillotine. Tale of Two Cities. 1812. First solo flight from England to Australia takes off from Croydon, piloted by aviator Bert Hinkler, who came from a little town up in Queensland called Bundaberg. He arrives 15 and a half days later. 1928 was the year. Just a couple of years before Amelia Earhart got married. Harvey S. Firestone, American manufacturer, founder of Firestone Tires and Rubber Company. He dies at 69 on this day in 1938. Sir Thomas More, English statesman, humorist and author. He was born in 1478. US President JFK begins blockade of Cuba by banning all Cuban imports and exports. 1962. But he still managed to get his Cuban cigars. I have no idea how. Well, if you're the President of the United States, you'd find a way, wouldn't you? New kangaroo fossil research published from Riversley, Australia, shows that kangaroos learned to hop 20 million years ago, much earlier than first thought. Golly. 2019. John Steinbeck, Grapes of Wrath. He dies 1991. 1856, colonial Tasmanian Parliament passes the first piece of legislation, the Electoral Act of 1856, nowhere in the world providing for elections by way of a secret ballot before this day. That's something, isn't it? Tasmania, 1856. And happy birthday to Garth Brooks, American country singer. Friends in Low Places, 1962 he was born. I think the best thing he ever did, if you ever get a chance to listen to it, maybe we'll find it and play it on Friday if I can find it. It was a thing called The Dance. Do you know it?
Oh yes, yes.
Isn't that a great song?
Yes, well I've recorded that myself.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Can we play your version?
Of course you can.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
I think it's one of the great pieces of music. I love it. Almost makes me cry.
Oh, it's a beautiful song. I was up in Queensland at a rodeo.
Yeah.
And I heard this song come over the loudspeakers. I'd never heard it before, so I went up to the booth and said, "Who was that?" They said, "Garth Brooks." Yeah, The Dance. Beautiful song.
Yep, I love it. Okay, thank you very much for being with us. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. The Court of Public Opinion will be back. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Peter Clayton's behind the camera. Believe in yourself, and goodbye for now.
Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared 'neath the stars above, and for a moment all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. Holding you, I held everything, and for a moment, wasn't I the king? But if I'd only known how the king would fall, and who's to say? You know, I might have changed it all. And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance. Yes, my life is better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the dance.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.